Hey YouTube, thanks for tuning in again. I'm your host, Sunny Rosario, right here on Native. We're just gonna jump right in. It's been busy, I'm behind. I almost died last week, again, and I have no time to waste. Let's get busy. This video is called A Pedophile Stole My Child's Lunch. Some of you know that we were homeschooling for almost like 2 years, and it finally came to a point where I needed to sell some real estate, flip some of these projects that I have in the air. My clients needed some love and attention, and I really needed to be able to work, 48 hours a day. I put them both into schools. Jack found one right away, but Josh is advanced. He's a gifted and talented child. He's got a high level of psychic ability, and so it's always harder to find a good school where he will be challenged and where he can find some kids that he clicks with. So the moral of this video, again, is always trust your gut. I had a bad feeling about the school. It wasn't anything that I saw, because on paper, this should have been a perfect school for Josh. Now, I don't think we reached the peak of depravity and bad things that can happen at this school. I really do think that my spirit guides and my son's spirit guides intervened before something even weirder could happen. So a couple weeks ago, I dropped Josh off at school and noticed that he forgot his lunch. So I make a mental note to drop it off, and I ended up at the school about 12 o'clock, and the lunch is at 12:10. And the burger smells amazing. It's still hot. I'm so excited to be able to drop off a special lunch. I walk into the office, I hand the food to the secretary, and she's like, "Oh, this is for Josh, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And I'm so impressed that she knows who it's for, and I assume that it's because of very good communication between my son's teacher, who I texted that morning, and the secretary. So I was like, high marks all around. I'm so impressed that this woman knew that this lunch was for Josh. So I had to turn to Josh for the missing part of the story because I wasn't there. So he said that the secretary called his classroom and his teacher told him to go up front to the desk to get his lunch. Now, this is where the lunch was switched out. The secretary, who knew his name 3 or 4 minutes before, gave him a Walmart bag from someone's house with a grubby ass water bottle full of an unknown liquid and a cold grilled cheese. There's nothing worse on the planet than a cold grilled cheese, right? So from there, the story gets even weirder, because at the end of the day, a teacher named Mr. Foxworth came up to my son and said, "Hey bro, I need my water bottle back." This causes me to have so many questions. First of all, how did you know that this kid had your water bottle and not know that your boring cold lunch from home, which was a grilled cheese, magically turned into a hot, locally sourced cheeseburger and fries from a commercial establishment right down the street from your job? If my boring lunch from home turned from a cold boring lunch into a hot meal from a burger establishment, that would be the most memorable and remarkable day of my entire life. So how does he know whose lunch he ate, but not that it wasn't his to eat? What was in the water bottle? I Googled this guy. I went to his LinkedIn. I went full private eye mode on that ass. And I found out that on his LinkedIn, he markets himself actually as a football player, like an arena flunky, never made it to the NFL football player. And so I'm thinking, oh my God, what if there's some kind of like weight training beverage or protein shake in this grubby ass water bottle that my son, who's 10 years old and maybe 60 pounds, should not be drinking. So that's my first concern is, what the fuck was in the lunch that you gave him? Second, why would you steal my child's lunch, you sleazy? You know well That was not your food. My son and I actually have a theory because this guy is really attractive. He's a very good looking guy. And the secretary, not so much. And my son thinks like she's a single, kind of slightly older lady. So we think that when that hot lunch came in the door, she gave it to her hot coworker for brownie points or pussy points or whatever the hell it is that would cause a grown person to steal a child's lunch. So we don't know if it was the secretary who stole the child's lunch or if it was Mr. Foxworth who stole the child's lunch, but the story gets even creepier, if that's even possible. When he walked up to him and asked for his water bottle back, he also said, "Hey bro, don't worry, I'll take you out to lunch." You're gonna what? Those of us who either work in law enforcement or have worked in law enforcement know that there truly are pedophiles everywhere, especially in schools. Unfortunately, any place that you have a lot of children, you also have a lot of pedos. And pedophiles are known to groom their children with treats and yummy food and by making them feel special. And we also know that there's this thing called the sexual ritual abuse calendar. And I'm sorry, but it puts me on high alert when at the high holiday for the Satanists, some dude is trying to lure my child out of a school building with food. Now, I have no evidence. I have no proof that there's pedophiles. I'm probably just hysterical because they strike a nerve. When you mess with the cat, you get the whiskers. I've gone full whisker on Mr. Foxworth at this point. So I've probably already said a lot more than my attorney would like me to say, but this is the exact same story that I will be telling to the judge. Because I realized after contacting these people and just confronting them directly that they weren't going to handle this in the typical way. And that I was going to have to lawyer up because I have a temper. I have a very strong personality. And when I go balls to the wall after your ass, it is not pretty. People do not like to be on the poopy end of the stick when I have a cause to fight. Because I am a supremely easygoing individual, but